Baphomet here, and the next band up on my metal channel is a band from the United Kingdom called My Dying Bride, one of the forefathers of Doom for sure. Now this is the first part of a two-part that I'm doing on My Dying Bride because they have about 12 albums out, so I don't want to do all 12 in one go. That seemed like it'd be a really long video for sure. So this is part one, and the first album up is As the Flower Withers. Now this album starts off with Silent Dance, which is a great doom metal track to open up your career with. It just, breathes doom metal for sure. It's like a haunting instrumental piece, and it's a great track to open up your doom metal career with for sure. The next song I want to talk about is Sear Me though, and I'm not going to go into too much detail because there's 3 of them, and I'm going to go into the second one on this one in a little more detail. But it's epitome of a doom metal track for sure. If you were to look up doom metal, hear this track, speaks doom metal 100%. It's an awesome track to go check out. The next song I want to mention though is Forever People. Now with this track, you're going to hear aggression, violence, and it's paired up with like dark atmosphere with it's a higher energy and a higher tempo type of track, which you're not going to really hear a lot out of My Dying Bride for sure. So that's why this is a rare track to hear, but it's a solid one, that's for sure. So that's another great track to go listen to. The second album up here is Turn Loose the Swans, as you see here. Now the Sear Me is the second one, but it's got kind of like this weird, I don't know, it's not number 2, MCMXC3, not sure what that means, but this is the second Sear Me track. And I find this is a precursor to what My Dying Bride would become overall, like the type of track. It's just enchanting music here. You get swept away, even though it's 7 minutes and 23 seconds, you still get swept away in it. It's brilliant. Between Aaron Stainthorpe's vocals, the violin, the piano, that's all it is. But it's great. I love, you just get wrapped up in it. Even though it's long, the time goes by. Just like Typo Negative, they find ways to keep you, wrapped up into the song. It's an amazing job that they do here. Another song I want to mention though is Your River. This is another epitome of a doom metal track. Now the lyrics kick in at about 4 minutes, but the build up is brilliant in it. So much great guitar work here, so many level changes in the music. It's tremendous, so you don't really get lost in those 4 minutes before the lyrics. The Aaron Stainthorpe's vocal melodies are amazing here. Probably my favorite that he does. I love the pain in his voice on this track for sure. It's a tremendous song, and I encourage you to listen to this whole thing because it's another one of those type of top to bottom albums that is a must listen to. But I do want to mention the Black God first though, because I find this track to be really good. Martin Powell does the keyboard or the pianos and violins here, and it's filled with some spoken word by Aaron Stainthorpe as well as some female vocals that are like kind of haunting and chilling in the background, which really completes Black God. Again, I'm not going to talk about this whole thing because you should just go check it out. Black God is a perfect track. The next album up is The Angel in the Dark River. Now this, I find this album is a lot longer songs, a lot slower songs, like what I mentioned before. You become to kind of know that. It starts off with a very hypnotic, tapping intro, which leads me to my must listen to track right here. So if you click here, it'll take you directly to The Cry of Mankind, a tremendous song, cool video, very haunting, chilling song for sure though. And at the end, there's like 6 minutes of just effects. I don't know what's going on, but it's very creepy and very cool. You might think it's, not creepy or cool or whatever, but I think that ending adds to the lore and the mystique of The Cry of Mankind. It's my must listen to track, so you click there, take you directly to some classic doom metal for sure. Another song I do want to mention off of this album though is Your Shameful Heaven. The violin intro is beautiful, then goes into some destructive doom for sure. Maybe another rare My Dying Bride, like higher energy, higher tempo type of things for sure. The guitar work is great here, and I find the lyrics to be kind of vulgar, but that seems to be definitely an Aaron Stainthorpe type of thing. Definitely kind of gross you out. Well, maybe not gross you out, but definitely hits home a little tougher. He's very poetic and strong lyricist for sure. But I'm not going to go into too much detail on this album because there's only 6 tracks, so I don't want to ruin that for you either. Just like the last one, just listen to the whole thing. The next album up is this bad boy here for sure. Like Gods of the Sun, a very complex album, a lot of diverse songs, and again, this one actually has, like I said, the rarity of higher tempo and higher energy type of songs. Now, maybe I lied to you saying that Forever People is rare, because this whole album has a lot more on that, but I also think this album was the album that brought them to the forefront a little bit. So maybe the higher energy tracks were something to get them more noticed for sure, but for sure some good songs to check out is the title track, like Gods of Thun and The Dark Caress. Two solid songs, a little more aggressive, and then they take a step back with A Kiss to Remember. Now this is a masterpiece of a song. The guitar work is great, and blended with the violins, they just blend seamlessly together. I love the highs and lows of this song. The tempo changes, everything is, it could have been another must listen to, but I don't want to put in too many of those. But there's a couple other solid tracks I should mention, is For You and For My Fallen Angel. Now For My Fallen Angel is just beautiful spoken word and violent. That is it. And to me, only My Dying Bride can pull that off. At least what I've heard so far of doom metal bands, but they do a tremendous job of that, and it's probably because Aaron Stainthorpe has just such a dark voice, very poetic. He's awesome at pulling that off. Now the next album up is this guy here. The title is 34.788% complete. Now I have no clue what that means. As you can see here, I'm not sure what that means, and I know this album also, there was a lot of criticism of the direction it went. Definitely different, lots of experimenting on it, but I think there's also some good tracks on it too, like The Whore, The Cook, and The Mother. I find this is a pretty entertaining song, maybe a little bit like The Cry of Mankind with some of the effects going on and things, but that's a decent track to check out. But then I always knew when I did a video on My Dying Bride, I was going to mention Apocalypse Woman. This song stands out tremendously. To me, it's one of the top 10 songs probably of all their songs entirely. It stands out like a sore thumb, but in a good way. I love the bass intro, the drums are awesome, it's a very rhythmic song. That one could have been a must listen to, but I'll probably actually hook you up in below with the comments for sure. So the next album up after that will be the last one of video 1. It's called The Light at the End of the World. Now this album opens up with She Is the Dark, which is actually my must listen to from the fans' point of view. I went on Facebook and I asked some people, what would you recommend to a new My Dying Bride fan? And the response I got back was actually She Is the Dark, and this album actually was on that list as well. So thank you guys also for, you know who you are, for putting in the time to message me about that as well. She Is the Dark, though, is a really creative song. There's several momentum changes here, which really keep you glued into the track, and return of Aaron Stainthorpe's dark, heavy, nasty vocals, a couple of parts in there where he gets a little harsh. Really good job on that. But this album is also a blend of maybe some slower and maybe some faster songs for sure, like Eden Beast. It's a longer song, a little slower, and then you go over to Fever Sea, a little higher energy, higher tempo, more aggression. But so maybe I lied earlier about how they're rare slower tracks, or rare faster tracks, sorry. But the song I do want to mention to you the most is Into the Ghost Lake. Very creepy song. Overall, I find it the guitar work to be very spine-chilling. It's eerie, painful lyrics, perfect blend. That's another awesome track though to take a listen to. And this album is pretty solid too, so probably good to check out the whole album as well. I'll probably be saying that a lot over My Dying Bride catalog. And the next album, or not the next album, sorry, the next video will be part 2, and it'll cover from the album Songs of Darkness to Words of Light to the newest album, which just came out, Feel the Misery. So if you out there have any songs that you would like to recommend as a must listen to people who are just picking up on My Dying Bride, or message me on Facebook, I got the links there as well. So please comment below on that. So if you subscribe to my channel, I'll be bringing My Dying Bride Part 2 directly to you. So until next time, happy listening.